It is exactly 6 p.m. in Bamukumbit, Ngokotunja Division in the Northwest region. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for joining us live for the 6 p.m. English news over the Republican television. Let's begin right away with our headlines. A truck containing 500 cartons of illicit drugs with tramadol inclusive is suspected to have left neighboring Nigeria was caught in Konsamba on its way to Douala in the littoral region. The drugs were instantly destroyed under the watchful eyes of the senior divisional officer for Mongo, Betran Noa Njana. Under the auspices of the Minister of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Social Economy and Handicraft, he has this Wednesday in November 17 presided over the second edition of the African Forum of Women Entrepreneurs with focus on the contribution of women entrepreneurs to the country's emergence. The ambience at the Japoma Stadium and some major streets of Douala following the victory of the indomitable Lions over the Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire on Tuesday, November 16 was beyond compare. We will have more in the following reports. We will be right back. We begin the news at the National Assembly, where the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, has this Wednesday, November 17th, defended the ratification of 1990 law on inner trade organization. The minister appeared before members of the lower house of assembly. We have details with Betran Tita.
The ratification of some specificities of the 1990 law on intertrade organization has been defended before the lawmakers at the National Assembly this Wednesday by the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji. The law seeks to make available the specificities of the various organizations to operate according to their functions.
We have the law, which is like the model law, that is the law of 1990. And now we have some specificities governing some organizations. So we have to readjust and we have to adapt those specificities to the new laws. For instance, we have a problem with the branch or interprofessional organization, intertrade organizations. So what we are trying to do is that now this is a separate body having their own specificities and their own way of operating. So what the government is doing now is to provide them the ability to do the activities taking into consideration the realities of their own movement.
As things evolve, there is a need for the government to improve on the law.
Syndicates have their own way of functioning, inter-trade organizations and things like that. So each time when the government concludes that they need to move forward, then at that time, they will study the specificity of any intertrade organization and that readjust the law or amend the law so that those people pertaining to that organization can carry out their activities without interfering, because things are changing and you cannot have one law for all those organizations. So the specific explanation is that now we have one law governing organizations.
The committee sitting in the Commission A Hall at the Conference Center, which is their temporal venue, saw the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, giving the benefits of this ratification. The bill would therefore be forwarded to the upper chamber for upward adoption before its implementation.
We remain at the National Assembly, where Minister Gabriel Bairobe of Agriculture and Rural Development has this Wednesday, November 17th, equally defended the bill on the agricultural sector in the country. It was done during a committee in Yaoundé. We have Betran Tita once more.
Before the lawmakers at the Committee Hall A at the Conference Center, the temporary venue for the lawmakers, the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Gabriel Bairobe, defended the bill for the reorganization of the agricultural sector in the country. Minister Gabriel Bairobe underscored the importance of the bill with focus on local producers and the advantage that it will bring.
We have many crops, many activity of production, and this bill came to put together all the segments of the production so that they can discuss between them to find an issue of production, of marketing, or of transformation or processing of their products. This is very important because it aims to, to have a balanced repartition of the income of the production. This is very important, and to create a framework of discussion, consultation, in order that they can have the same position to defend their interests or to discuss with the public administration.
The lawmakers were very excited with the recent development in the agricultural sector.
This law is going to help our, for example, farmers. I am in the area where is produced the product they call them poivre de Njobe Pinja, poivre blanc de Njobe Pinja. So you have farmers, you have company, people who are organized in plantation de poivre. To have the bill. The bill is going to help them to have the same function to.
The bill will therefore be forwarded to the upper house chamber for upward adoption before its implementation.
25% of women are entrepreneurs, but just few contributes to the development of their country. It is a problem that the second edition of the African Forum Women Entrepreneurs that opened this Wednesday at the Yaoundé Sports Complex wants to solve. The opening ceremony was chaired by the Minister of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Social Economy and Handicraft, Achille Basiliken-Etoa. We have details in the following report.
Transporters face many problems and challenges during active service as they struggle to survive and take care of themselves and families despite their tireless efforts to render good services. To ameliorate and bring lasting solutions to this phenomenon, the 23rd session of the National Labour Commission holds at the Conference Hall of the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, November 17, 2021, to examine proposed pertinent and structural innovations in strict respect of rights and well-being of transporters in carrying out jobs decently.
Salaries. It's more on in this negotiation, because if you look at it most times, especially when I talk about taxes, it's a matter of negotiation. As we know, salaries are negotiated. So, and then they know that when you work a number of hours, or by the end of the month, they give you a certain amount of money, and at a certain point, some people even negotiate at a certain point of time, after you work for so many years or number of months, you can own the taxi. That's between you and the employer. That's different. But now the working conditions, they face a lot of problems because they don't have rest. Workers or taxi drivers who work don't have enough rest, and that's why we see a lot of accidents happening, because they are expected to bring a certain amount of money within a short time, and so they work round the clock non-stop. I mean, there's no worker that works, they're not machines, they're human beings, and of course we are entitled to live, you are entitled to rest. At least during the weekend you can rest. And I think that certain employers employ two drivers, so that when you work during the day, some of them work in the night, so that you don't overwork any of the workers. But I want to say that the Ministry of Labour is doing its best to make sure that workers have decent work. But you know that when we talk about drivers, at the level of motorbikes, it becomes more complicated with them because they're not really structured. It's in the very informal sector, they're not very structured.
Non-respect of working hours and under poor working conditions remain a big problem.
And it's really unfair to see that workers are exploited. It's unfair. It's not right. Because workers are, if an employer wants to overuse a worker, don't forget that that worker
We apologize for that technical mix-up. That was instead a report from Ann Omeko on the 23rd session of the National Labour Advisory Commission that was held this Wednesday, November 17th, with a focus on the need to guarantee transporters' rights. The meeting, which took place at the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, was chaired by the Ministry's Minister, Gilgra Owona. Let's now take you back to our report on the women entrepreneurship, which the ceremony was opened by the Minister of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Social Economy and Handicraft, Achille Basiliken-Trois. Let's take a listen.
Lack of quality education, taking care of the family, lack of classic finances, just to name but these are some of the constraints women are facing in the society. Majority of people wanting to create change in the country through entrepreneurship are men, but women, however, are not left out as they equally can contribute to this change.
The second edition of the Female Woman Entrepreneur is coming at the right time. It is just 1 week after the World Week on Entrepreneurship. And this initiative is meant to not only explore the best way to support women entrepreneurs. We have participants coming from all over in Africa, from Europe, also from North America. And it is also an opportunity to see how can we better empower women, what incentives are made available by the government. We will review all of these, and I am quite sure that with the participants coming from abroad, it will also provide an opportunity to not only compare notes, exchange views, but also explore the standards that are being implemented in their respective countries so that we create this enabling environment that will fully give women entrepreneurs in Cameroon more capacities to display what they are able to do.
The second edition of the African Forum of Women Entrepreneurs has come to address issues related to the development of women entrepreneurs in Africa. The event, which will run till the 20th of November 2021, will give an opportunity to small and medium-sized businesses through an exhibition fair.
We are working tirelessly on these constraints. And as I said, there are some incentives that are already embedded in the law governing enterprises from 2010. There are some changes that are in the pipeline to continue improving this process. And you are also aware that as concerned incubators, there is also a process that is already being finalized. I am quite convinced that putting together all these instruments, the government is on the right path to facilitate addressing the difficulties and concerns and expectations of women entrepreneurs in Cameroon.
Cameroonians are therefore committed and relentless in contributing to the country's economic development. Presided over by the Minister of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Achille Basiliken-Trois, the event brought together 12 African countries under the theme Leadership, Women Entrepreneurship and Emergence, where women are invited to work together in order to impact the society.
Let's now talk culture. In prelude to the 2021 Ekran Noir, a press briefing was held this Tuesday, November 16th, to reflect on past successes and brainstorm on what to do to ameliorate the Cameroon industry. We have details with Ruth Fonyo.
Considered as one of the important meetings of cinema in Africa, Écran Noir is a film festival founded in 1997 to promote the 7 arts of the continent and Cameroon in particular. In preparation for its 25th anniversary, the General Manager Basek Ba Kabio had a press briefing with media men this November 16, 2021, where he said the youth are supposed to get interested to issues related to cinema.
Celebrating because we spent 25 years of working, and we work hard, and we tried to make what young people be interested by cinema, because the cinema is one of the way where you can try to transform society.
He also sees the cinema as a tool to prevent socio-political crises.
If the cinema was like it is now in the English-speaking region before, with this kind of understanding between Francophone and Cameroon, Anglophone, we couldn't have this kind of situation today. Because from cinema you can travel from a region to another. And I think that the cinema helped us to come together.
Worthy of note is the fact that it was a time to look at past achievements and failures, appreciate and look for ways to correct them in order to be able to successfully forge ahead.
Let's now take you to Boyo Division in the northwest region of the country, where the Voice of the Voiceless non-governmental organization has donated special packages to 21 students of the government bilingual high school Fundong. The packages were handed to the students this Wednesday, November 17th, by the CEO of this NGO, Ngong Christian. We have details with Bertrand Tita.
In their constant quest for peace, quality education and humanitarian assistance, the Voice of the Voiceless non-governmental organization has extended its good gesture to students of the government bilingual high school Fundong, chief town of the Boyo division in the northwest region of Cameroon. As its name goes, the Voice of the Voiceless has put smiles on the faces of 21 students by paying part tuition fee for the needy. The principal of the institution is particularly overwhelmed by the selfless nature of the CEO of the organization, Ngong Christian, who used the opportunity to celebrate his birthday by reaching out to students of GBHS Fundong who hunger for quality education.
Happy and grateful for this wonderful gesture, the GCA registration. And these students in particular have noticed that most of them are orphans, either complete orphans or half orphans. That is, some of them have only one parent. And I noticed that some of them are struggling on their own to raise their school fees, to raise their registration, and I felt for them.
The beneficiaries on their part are not greedy, as the smile on their faces speaks for itself. The representative of the NGO equally did not hide her feelings for the manner of giving worth more than what is given, and there is actual joy in giving than taking.
The sum of 170,000 francs, 7,500 for 16 students in ordinary level, and then 10,000 for 5 students in the advanced level.
Since the start of the socio-political crisis in the northwest and southwest regions, the Voice of the Voiceless non-governmental organization has in many occasions advocated for the return of peace and normalcy, especially in the educational sector. May this quest for quality education and constant support to the needy never depart from the organization. For education, they say, is the key to success, and the greatness of any nation depends on the quality of education.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, you're watching the 6 p.m. English news over the Republican television. Let's now talk health, where a truck containing 500 cartons of illicit drugs suspected to have in Nigeria was caught in Konsamba on to Douala. The drugs were instantly destroyed under the watchful eyes of the senior divisional officer for Mongo, Bertrand Njana. We have details with Jan Ninka.
This truck was caught by the elements of the Mongo North during an operation at about 3 a.m. on the night of the 16th, breaking 17th November 2021. Upon inquiries, it left the northwest region, suspected to be coming in from neighboring Nigeria, having as destination the city of Douala in the Littoral region. The said truck was transporting 500 big cartons of illicit drugs with tramol inclusive, destined for the local population, but was caught thanks to the excellent cooperation that exists between the forces of law and order and the population.
We had an operation on the night of 16th, breaking 17th at about 8 a.m. We caught this truck with 500 big cartons of illicit drugs with tramol inclusive. We want to thank the population and assure them not to be afraid. The gendarmerie is out for the interest of all. We want to remind each and everyone that end-of-year festivities and the African Cup of Nations will unfold in very good conditions.
The contraband goods were at once set ablaze under the watchful eyes of the senior divisional officer for Mongo, Bertrand Njana, who did not fail to salute the braveness of the forces of law and order, while calling on the population to leave no stone unturned as far as fighting against the commercialization of illegal drugs is concerned.
To salute the braveness of our forces of law and order, and salute the collaboration with the population, I am inviting the population to contribute immensely in stopping the commercialization of illicit drugs and banned goods. These are things which destroy our youth and which creates problems in maintaining order.
This operation is in line with the fight against illicit drugs in the littoral region at large, with the forces of law and order promising war against whosoever might want to go against the law, especially during the African Cup of Nations and end-of-year's festivities.
Let's now take this cover shot in connection to the Miss Cameroun contest. A press conference to announce the participation of Audrey Nabila Monkam, Miss Cameroun 2020 in the Miss World contest to take place on December 16, 2021 in Puerto Rico, and Michelle Ange Minkata, Miss Cameroun 2016 in the Miss Universe contest in December 12, 2021 in Eilat, Israel, has just ended at the Contemporary Art Gallery in Yaoundé this November 17, 2021. The two candidates expressed their joy and called on Cameroonians to vote massively for positive results. Let's take a listen to them in the following excerpt, carefully selected to us by Anne Umeko.
I want to thank everyone for supporting me, not just me, but the organization of Miss Cameroun, with every beauty pageant that have been sending beauty queens to represent the country at Miss World, Miss Universe, Miss Earth, and more. And I just hope and believe that together we can still continue supporting Cameroun, because it doesn't end here. We want our flag to be top at the international pageant. So what we need to do is the continuity, what we do to share the pictures, to share information about the pageant, and to keep supporting on the official pages of Miss World, and Miss Universe as well.
Well, this is another challenge for me because I would like to come back on a little story that before doing Miss Cameroon, I was a tomboy. I was not the stereotype of what a beauty queen was. And Miss Cameroon was for me a platform that helped me discover myself. It helped me build myself, which eventually took me to international pageants. Yes, we went for those different pageants. Thanks to God, we had different placements. This time around, I'm counting on all Cameroonians to have a higher placement than we ever had at the previous competitions, because the voting from our different countries is also very important, of which you will see the different delegates, which is in alphabetical order. When you go down, you're going to see Cameroon, you're going to see our picture and our biography. And you're going to click on vote for now. And when you vote, the first vote is free, but if you want to vote as much as you can pay for that, which is actually $1 per vote.
Let's now talk sports, where the indomitable Lions of Cameroon have qualified for the knockout stage of the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifiers on the African continent. The boys of coach Antonio Conceição inflicted a goal-to-nil defeat on the Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire this Tuesday, November 16, 2021 at the Japoma Stadium in Douala. Our special envoy Isaac Ngonkum tells us more in the following report.
The Japoma Stadium in Douala was in complete ecstasy when Carl Toko Ekambi fired in a thunder shot to open scores in the Group D grand finale, opposing the indomitable Lions of Cameroon to the visiting Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire this Tuesday, 16th November 2021. To the fans and supporters of Cameroon, it was a sweet revenge on the Ivorians, who beat them 2-1 in the first leg last September 6. Their joy was beyond bounds.
Cameroon remains Cameroon. The Ivory Coast today, they will go on bed at 10 o'clock. They will go on bed. The minister have said that the secret is as she said in French. I think that Acheketu is for elders like Cameroon.
And at times we thought that we are going to lose it and they are going maybe to score. But finally the Lions, they held on so good, and then we won the match. That was really, really good.
My impressions are that of joy and pleasure. At least we have done well, we played well, we qualified in our own home ground. So it gives satisfaction to everybody. It's just the first step, and we hope that they are going to improve and do better in the second phase of the qualifications.
To this African football lover and expert, Cameroon's win predicts brighter days ahead, especially concerning the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations that the country is hosting.
It was an amazing game, and the Cameroonian did it. I was saying before the beginning of the game, Cameroon is always dangerous when they need the result. They needed the victory, and they want to get it. And there's something else I used to say people, Douala is a real home of indomitable lion. This city got something, got a special history with the indomitable lions. Anytime they play in Douala, they are good, they have a real support, and they always make it. So it is a very, very nice victory. They deserve it. Now it's not finished, but at least it's good for March. March we're going to have the barrage, the last game before the Qatar. But this win is going to build what's going to be the team during the AFCON. You see, the stadium was like a quarter full. Guess if it was totally full with Cameroonian fans, it's going to be amazing. That's what we can say from that. You're going to have a very, very lovely tournament.
Thanks to Tuesday's win, Cameroon finished top of the group with 15 points and completes the table of qualified teams for the knockout stage of the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifiers on the African continent. Other qualified nations include Nigeria, Egypt, Ghana, Senegal, Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, Mali, and the Democratic Republic of Congo.
The ambience at the Japoma Stadium and some major streets of Douala following the victory of the Indomitable Alliance over the Elephants of Côte d'Ivoire on Tuesday, November 16 was beyond compare. The players and staff of the Indomitable Lions took the conference room of the Japoma Stadium by surprise when they came in dancing and singing with joy. We have details with Isaac Ngonkom.
The national and international press was expecting the head coach of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon and a player for the traditional post-match press conference, but instead they got a bonus. It was not any different at the dressing room when the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Fcfa interim president, and other sports authorities came to congratulate the team. The streets of Douala, Yaoundé, and other major cities were flooded with happy fans who stayed long into the night to congratulate the Lions for a job well done. All in all, the 16th of November 2021 is a date many Cameroonians will not forget in a hurry. Even comedians have immortalized Toko Ekambi with a great piece. Enjoy.
C'est notre papa, et c'est notre frère, c'est notre mari. On doit lui soulever jusqu'au ciel, jusqu'à Dieu va l'encadrer et donner sa chaise là où il faut. La reine du règne et la gloire de gloire.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our 6 p.m. English news over the Republican television. Thanks for watching. Meet Desiree Trésor Mbonnet at exactly 8 p.m. for news in the French language. But until then, do stay tuned to interesting programs over Camdi's television. Have a wonderful evening.